Most people will never know this, but within the next few years, physical cash could vanish from your life entirely. Your wallet, once a symbol of freedom, will be obsolete. Every transaction, every purchase, every cent you spend will be tracked, recorded, and controlled. This is still happening today, and the plan is not hidden at S. Just hidden in plain sight, disguised in policy papers, government press releases, and digital currency trials. They call it modernization. They call it progress, but the reality is far darker. Behind the language of convenience and efficiency lies a mechanism of unprecedented control over the most private part of your life. Your money. Most people will never know this because the narrative on television, newspapers, and social media tells only the friendly version. Cashless payments, faster transfers, easier banking. They never showed you the mechanism of control. The elimination of cash gives governments and central banks the power to monitor spending in real time, restrict purchases, and enforce behavior. Here is what they want you to see. Every major central bank on Earth is experimenting with digital currencies. Every law, every policy, every pilot program is quietly paving the way for a future where physical money no longer exists. The infrastructure is being built quietly, deliberately, and systematically, so that when the time comes, the transition will feel seamless to the public until it's too late. The history of cash shows us the pattern. In 1960, Sweden began discouraging cash through taxation and fees, making card payments more attractive. By the 2000s, cash use had plummeted, replaced almost entirely by cards and digital systems. In India, the 2016 demonetization removed high-denomination bills overnight, leaving citizens scrambling while banks profited from increased digital transactions. Most people will never know this, but each step is a rehearsal. Each country testing restrictions is a blueprint for global implementation. Lessons are learned, applied, and perfected. This is still happening today, and the experiments in Sweden, India, and China serve as models for the rest of the world. China's digital yuan is a warning to everyone who still believes cash is safe. Launched quietly, it allows the government to track every payment in real time. Citizens' spending habits are recorded, scored, and can be restricted if deemed inappropriate. Early pilots in cities like Shenzhen revealed just how quickly cash could be replaced with digital control. Most people will never know this, but the technology exists, the infrastructure is ready, and legal frameworks are being updated to allow full enforcement. This is still happening today, and the question is not if, but when it will reach Western nations, where the public may be even more dependent on privacy and anonymity in financial matters. Europe has already begun its transition. Sweden, Denmark, and the Netherlands are accelerating the removal of cash from everyday life. Banks charge fees for deposits, merchants prefer electronic payments, and governments incentivize digital wallets. In parallel, the European Central Bank has been piloting the digital euro for several years, testing the ability to track transactions and implement programmable features. Most people will never know this, but each step, each policy, each incentive nudges society toward a cashless future. This is still happening today, and in the next 5 years, the consequences will touch every corner of daily life. From grocery stores to public transportation, from small businesses to major corporations. In the United States, the signals are unmistakable. Central bank digital currency research is ongoing, and FedNow, the real-time payments system, allows instant transfers and monitoring. State-level pilots for digital IDs and programmable money are underway. Every transaction, every purchase, every tax refund can be routed through systems that have the capacity to block or restrict access. Most people will never know this, but the legislation quietly being introduced is designed to give institutions unprecedented control over individual finances. This is still happening today, and 2026 marks the start of the critical transition period, when digital systems begin to intersect with everyday life in ways that will feel normal, inevitable, and necessary. Here's the exact timeline. January 2026. The first nationwide trials of government-backed digital wallets begin. Participation is framed as convenience, security, and modernization, but the underlying goal is behavioral control. March 2026. Legislation quietly passes to allow banks to reduce cash availability, citing fraud, prevention and efficiency. June 2026. Major cities roll out incentives for digital payments, from tax rebates to utility discounts, all designed to reward participation and normalize the absence of cash. September 2026. Pilot programs in several states link spending patterns to carbon scores and behavioral indexes. Late 2026. International coordination through forums like the G20 and IMF aligns regulations globally. Most people will never know this, but each step is deliberate, synchronized, and calculated to phase out physical currency. This is still happening today, and the momentum will accelerate rapidly through 2027, 2028, and beyond. By 2027, banks begin imposing restrictions on cash withdrawals, citing security and efficiency. By 2028, digital wallets are integrated with government IDs, tax systems, and welfare programs. Cash becomes inconvenient, expensive, and socially discouraged. In parallel, programmable money allows authorities to enforce spending restrictions. Certain purchases blocked, others incentivized. Most people will never know this, but the infrastructure to control every transaction will be complete. This is still happening today, and it will fundamentally shift the balance of power between citizens and the state, making financial privacy almost impossible. By 2029, multinational corporations partner with governments, aligning loyalty programs, payment platforms, and supply chains with digital currency ecosystems. Physical cash disappears from most large transactions. Black markets shrink. Street-level payments are tracked, and governments can enforce monetary behavior in ways never before possible. Most people will never know this, but the final pieces are being put in place. This is still happening today, and when 2030 arrives, cash as we know it will be all but obsolete in developed nations. The consequences are profound. Who wins? Banks, central authorities, and corporations that can track, monitor, and influence spending. Who loses? Ordinary citizens, small businesses, anyone who relies on privacy or autonomy in financial decisions. Most people will never know this, but with every step toward a cashless society, the ability to resist disappears. This is still happening today. And the coming years will determine how much control individuals retain over their wealth, their freedom, and their daily lives. The warning is clear. Understand the systems being built, the policies being enacted, and the digital infrastructure quietly deployed. T-choices in 2026-2030 will shape financial freedom for decades. Most people will never know this, but knowledge is the first defense. This is still happening today, and ignoring it ensures that before you even realize, you will be fully under digital financial control. If this video woke you up, drop a like and subscribe. New forbidden truth every single day. Turn on notifications, the next one might save your wealth. Comment the one thing you're doing right now to prepare. I read every single one.